Alright, y'all, welcome back to the channel. So, in today's video, I want to talk about this here credit card that I have pulled up by Capital One. Now, this is the Capital One Spark Classic Business Credit Card. Now, the reason why I got this card pulled up today, and the reason why I want to talk about it, is because this credit card is a business credit card. Now, I'm going to get into this and kind of walk y'all through it and sort of explain it a little bit more to y'all. But just know that business credit cards are totally different from consumer credit cards. Or not totally different, but there are some differences, and we'll get into that in the video. But with that said, let's go into it. So I got pulled up on their website, the Capital One Spark Classic. This is their very entry-level business credit card. There ain't nothing special about this thing at all. So, but to start off, some of the basic perks and features of the card is you're going to earn 1% cash back on every purchase you make. There's no limits, no restrictions, nothing like that. Then this is a no annual fee card, so if you don't like paying annual fees, which me personally, I suggest you don't pay annual fees to go borrow the bank's money. That's dumb. That doesn't make sense. Okay? And then the purchase rate on this card is set at 26.99%. Now, here we go again with them setting interest rates at 26 point. They put it like 1/10 of a point below 27. They can't just round up and say, oh, 27, because they lower it down to make you think, oh, I'm getting a good deal. But the purchase rate on this is 26.99%. Now, that being said, don't carry a balance. We've been through this. I've talked about it in my videos before. You carry a balance, you're making the bank rich, and they're sucking the blood out of your wallet. So, anyhow, they say card can help with credit building, and the minimum payment on this card, see, this is where it starts getting a little bit different than some consumer cards. Your minimum payment will be the greatest of $15 or 1% of your balance plus new interest, late payment fees, and any past due amount. So your minimum payment, the 1% and then the rest of that's about standard, but the $15 minimum payment, that is lower than quite a few consumer credit cards. A lot of consumer credit cards are a $25 minimum payment or maybe even a $35 minimum payment, depending on the card. So that right there is interesting on the face of it. But then they go into the rewards and stuff. You can set with Capital One, with all their credit cards, you can set up automatic payments. If you're not one to look at your stuff that often, you might want to set that up. That way you don't get hit with a late payment fee. Zero fraud, that's standard. Okay, and then it being a business card, they give you year-end summaries. So all of your purchases or whatever, they'll give you a year-end breakdown of everything you purchased. So that definitely makes these business cards handy, because it just makes you at the end of the year, it makes it easier to do your taxes. And then account managers, you can basically assign people to manage different parts of the account. And then they purchase records, they can integrate some of their accounting with this account and this card with like QuickBooks, again, to make your end of the year taxes a lot easier. So that's definitely a nice feature. Virtual card numbers, that's begin to be like a standard from big banks. So, okay. Anyways, let's pull up some rates and fees and go through that and kind of break that down for you. Okay, so here we have the rates and fees information sheet pulled up. And I'm going to walk y'all through it like I've done on many of my videos discussing credit cards. We're going to walk through the account terms and talk about it. All right, so to start off up here at the top, the annual percentage rate for purchases on this card, but also balance transfers, is 26.99%. So don't carry a balance or you're going to pay a lot of money to the bank to carry a balance. Why give the bank your money? And then the APR for cash advances. Now, what's a cash advance? Excuse me, y'all. A cash advance is very simply, it's when you go to ATM, you take that credit card, you put it in the ATM, and you say, I want cash out. And they give you cash out, but because of that, they charge you a different APR, which in this case, it's the same as the purchase APR. But then we have right down here in the next box, penalty APR and when it applies. Okay, penalty APR. Basically, if you make a late payments or you go late on your bill, they can sock a penalty APR to you that's going to be higher. And once they sock it to that account, it may never move from that again. They may keep that number on that account for the life of the account. So be aware of that. That's why you always pay your bill on time in full. But penalty APR 29.4%, almost 30%. So that's 3% more than what you pay normally. Okay, and then it says this APR will vary with the market based on the prime rate. This APR may be applied to your account if you make a late payment. Okay, see, if you make a late payment, they're going to sock you with it. Paying interest. Your due date is due at least 25 days after the closing of each billing cycle. We will not charge you interest on new purchases, provided you have paid your previous balance in full by the due date each month. We will begin charging interest on cash advances, this up here, cash advances, and transfers. Now, what do they mean by transfers? They're referring to balance transfers. So if you make a balance transfer, which the APR for purchases and balance transfers is 26.99%, we will begin charging interest on cash advances and transfers, referring to balance transfers, on the transaction date. Now, the transaction date is if I go to Walmart, or let's say I make a balance transfer from one credit card to another, and I do it today. Today is considered the transaction date, so interest gets charged that day and every day going forward. So that's how that works. For credit card tips from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, they have to legally put that in there. Okay, annual fee. There ain't one. That's a good thing about this card. They don't charge an annual fee. So that's nice. You can apply for the card, get the card, and hold the card forever, as long as you don't do something to cause them to close it. Okay, transaction fees. Balance transfer fee. On this card, there is no balance transfer fee. On a lot of cards, when you want to transfer a balance from one card to another, they say, okay, if you want to transfer this balance over to here, well, that transfer, we're going to charge you a 3% transfer fee on the amount that you transfer over. But here, they don't have that, so it's just when you transfer it over, you start paying interest, which is nice because they ain't charging you a transfer fee. Cash advance fee, either $10 or 3% of the cash advance, whichever is greater. So that's pretty simple. Late payment fee, they're going to sock you with a $39 late payment fee. If you don't pay by the due date, they're going to hit you with $39. How do you calculate my balances? That's standard average daily balance. Are there any other penalty fees associated with this card not listed in the box above? No, there is no additionally penalty fees associated with this card. Okay? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, balance transfers. Can you change the APRs? Okay. Okay. Here's something I want to get into with y'all. This is common between all credit card accounts, is this clause right here. What about any other terms of my account? We may change any other terms of the account other than APRs at any time. If we change any of these terms, we will notify you in writing of your options in advance, including the right to opt out of certain changes. They do that because they want to be able to move stuff around and change stuff to make them more money. That's why they put that in there. Just be aware of that. Okay, and then how do you determine? This is all simple stuff. Again, anytime y'all apply for something like this, read this fine print. Go through it, even if it bores you to death. Go through it, read the fine print. Okay, minimum payment. Does Capital One report? Now, here's what I want to get into y'all with and kind of break this down a little bit more for you. This is the reason why I'm talking about a business credit card. Does Capital One report credit information, and can that build business credit? We provide accurate and timely information about Spark business accounts to business credit bureaus. Excuse me, y'all. And may also provide this information to consumer credit bureaus. This gives you an opportunity to build your business credit by showing that you pay bills on time and that you don't go over your credit limit. Okay, so what they're telling you is, and Capital One does this specifically. Now, there are some banks that don't do this, but Capital One, okay, this is the Business Credit Bureau. There's 3 different bureaus, and they're different from your consumer bureaus. And how they factor their credit score is it's a different system than the Consumer Credit Bureau. Not completely different. The same principles apply, but it's a different set of rules for businesses. Just know there's 3 different credit bureaus, and credit bureaus are separate from consumer bureaus. So what they're saying here is they report any activity on this business credit card to the business credit reporting agencies. Okay? And again, there's 3 of those agencies. Okay, and then they say they may also provide this information to consumer credit bureaus. Now they say they may also, but in reality, Capital One will report all of the information about this card to all 3 of the consumer credit bureaus. So they're reporting to the business credit bureaus with these cards and the consumer credit bureaus. So that's what I want to get into here. And the reason why I'm talking about this, because a lot of people that like business cards really complain about the Capital One cards, specifically because they report to the consumer bureaus. A lot of companies, like, say, for example, Amex, American Express. American Express's business credit cards do not report to the consumer credit bureaus. They keep those cards specifically about business, and I use business in quotation marks because what makes a business? You'll get it. I'll get into that here in a minute. But my point in saying all this is Capital One, if you're looking for a business credit card because you want that credit card account to stay off the consumer bureaus, Capital One is not the place to look for a business credit card because they report to both sides, business and personal. So just be aware of that with these Capital One business credit cards. It's a double-edged sword. If you really manage your card well with Capital One, it'll help with your business credit, but it'll also help with your consumer credit. But if you need to carry a balance for a while because you're buying material for your business and you're basically using this to help with cash flow for a little bit, then you're going to get dinged on your business credit and your personal credit with this card because it reports to both. So anyways, that's my rant there. Just be aware of that. That's why a lot of people don't like these business cards from Capital One. They're kind of a double-edged sword. And then they talk about the rewards program. Okay, 1% on everything. If you close the account and don't redeem the awards, you lose them. That's kind of a standard thing. Okay, so now something I want to talk about that they don't really mention in here that much is the fact that what makes a business? Honestly, what makes a business? In the in these credit card companies' minds, a business can literally be, oh, I'm selling a couple of t-shirts a month. Let's say I sell 10 t-shirts a month on eBay. Let's just say I do that, and it's a little pocket change, basically a side hustle where you make a couple $100 a month. Let's say that's what it is. In Capital One's eyes, that is considered a business. They consider that a business. So just because you don't have like a business, you're not an incorporated business, you just like got a side hustle and you do it in your name, that's still considered a business. So these cards are not limited to people that only have LLCs or S corps or all that. You can be a sole proprietor working under your own name, just doing something. Let's say you bake or sell. Let's say you sell fruit and vegetables at the farmers market during the summertime, and you just make you make 50, $60 a day, and that comes around once a week. That's a couple $100 a month max. To the credit card companies, that is still considered a business. They consider that a business. So, like I say, don't get into your head, oh, these cards aren't for me, I don't have a business. Because if you do anything on the side to basically make money, then you have a business. Because again, what makes a business? Not legal advice, not financial advice. Don't lie on your applications. Tell them the truth. Like, if you only. And another thing, don't lie and say, oh, my business selling 10 t-shirts on eBay makes $30,000. Don't do that. They're not that stupid. Just be like, look, I sell 10 t-shirts, it makes $100 a month. Okay? They're not, they don't look at it like, oh my God, he's not making anything. They want you to be truthful, so don't lie on your applications. And just tell them you're a sole proprietor selling apples at the farmer's market every couple of days. I mean, it's not that big of a deal. So anyways, guys, in this video, I just wanted to pull this up, kind of talk about the Spark Classic business credit card, and kind of go over, just briefly kind of start getting y'all to understanding and getting videos out there that kind of talk about business credit cards and how they work, because they're a little bit different than consumer credit cards. They don't quite work on the same rules. So with that being said, y'all, I'm going to call it the end of this one. And with that being said, y'all have a good one.